Fantastic. I nailed it. Welcome back, everyone. I'm a lot pinker than I was the last time I seen you. But I've interviewed Stephen. I asked him the questions you wanted to ask, and I will be putting that interview out just in a moment or two. I just wanted to reiterate what had went on in the courts today, or at least what we found out about today. Julia, of course, being denied bail. It's frustrating for all of us. And there was a few things that I just want to reiterate because I thought maybe I was going crazy earlier. It was down here. A lawyer acting for Julia made an unsuccessful application at the court. Judge Timothy Casey ruled no details from the bail application to be reported ahead of the plea trial preparation hearing listed to take place in the same court on the 27th. Wandelt from Leuven did not attend the court hearing, but is understood to have followed the proceedings via a prison video link. Let's just all keep that in our minds for now. And for me, there's a lot to come. There really, really is. But rather than waffling on, well, actually, we'll give it another 2 or 3 minutes of waffling, and then we'll jump into this interview. But for me, I hope everyone's doing it. I am so pink. I don't understand. I just don't understand. But we'll figure this out one day. But I hope everyone's having a good Friday. We've, of course, got the Surviving Life podcast this evening. Hope everyone will come and join us around about 9:30. And I imagine there's other bits and bobs that I've not looked up. Now, obviously, I usually do live streams back to back, longer shows. I've experimented a little bit today. Next week, I'll be experimenting with longer shows and all the rest of it because I'm in a space now that isn't so compact. Now, I hope you guys are happy with the questions that I've asked. There's no problem doing a follow-up interview, and just know I'm not gatekeeping anyone. I have altered or hidden the voice of Stephen because I'll happily let key members of the communities know or hear samples or whatever, but I'm not putting his real voice out there when it's his choice. So let's go. Let's just go. You guys like and share for me if you can. I would really, really appreciate it. And we'll go and we'll begin this interview now. What if anybody has anything that you want to say or ask before we jump into this? Let me know. My brain's a bit frazzled, guys. I'm not going to lie. It's been an interesting day throwing all this together. I'm a bit like all over the shop. I'd love to know why he's hiding. Well, I wouldn't say he's hiding. I would say it was Ron's suggestion, if I'm being honest. If I'm being completely honest with you. So if you're really asking why is he hiding, in the sense of his voice in this interview, it's because Ron insisted, if I'm being honest. Yeah. I'm frazzled. I'm a veteran. My G. So Stephen Dempster is one of the close friends of Julia. He is known as the third party, I believe. And like I say, he is happy to do follow-ups. And you will hear his missus, his wife, comment towards the end of this. Yeah. Sounds a bit odd, Rod. What do you have to hide? Hang on, where are you? Where did that go? I seen it, and then it's gone. Oh yeah. That sounds a bit odd, Ron. What do you have to hide? Nothing. It's what is necessary for an interview is the answers to the questions. Okay. Anyone who may choose to try and go further than what I'm producing which is answers to questions, I want to limit that. So, and again, my suggestion. So don't get me wrong. I'm happy to do this anyway. All people involved would like to do it. So yeah. But anyway, let's get on with this. Give me some likes, give me some shares. I would really appreciate it. And let's get started on this one. Let's get started. Go from here. Okay. So first of all, Stephen, thank you very much for agreeing to talk to us. I know there's been a lot of speculation, conspiracy, and assumptions made about where you fit into the whole Julia saga and her world. And first of all, the main question is, who is Steve? So you don't need to tell people too much about yourself, but you can introduce yourself, shall we say?
Well, who is anyone at the end of the day? Like, I'm just basically a normal person. Just talked to Julia for a few years, and she just become friends.
All right. Are you anti the Sean Atwood channel and Ron?
No, I watch it quite a bit.
What are your motives regarding Julia?
The only motive really was to get Julia the answers she wanted. That was it. That's the only motive there is. Just to help her get the answers she wanted.
Have you seen the Sean Atwood series made with Julia? And if so, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, we used to discuss things like before we went on the show with Julia. I used to discuss things with Julia, and then I used to see him on the show afterwards. So, yeah, I've watched every single episode of it. It's been really good. But it does need to, like, cut down all the really important stuff took out and just put it into one place, like a 45-minute video or something.
You know, I've actually this morning put together notes for putting together a documentary for Julia that encompasses just that. All right, next question. How does he know Julia? How did they meet? Well, I think you covered that originally, but just for the sake of,
cross-referencing. Obviously, I was watching the first saga with Thea, and the wife was getting into it. We actually watched Dr. Phil live from America feed, just to watch the results and that. And when he come back, it was an ancestry DNA. I just pissed myself laughing and said, "Oh, you'll see her next week." And then she just disappeared, sort of thing. But I think I was still talking to her on Instagram then at the time.
So the conspiracy that everyone is currently going crazy over is whose idea was it for Julia to come to the UK? Who paid for it all and all the rest of it? So I don't want you to worry too much about making explanations. I just want you to answer the questions, and I'm going to summarize some things. So do you know who suggested originally for Julia to come to the UK?
It would have been either me or Julia, because there was like 4 or 5 options on the table that what she was going to go and do and get it done.
Now, when you say it could have been her or you, do you mean Julia had no intentions of coming to the UK and you put an idea in her head, or do you mean she came to you with a selected group of ideas that you helped her expand on?
I'd say a selective group of ideas, we expanded them.
Okay.
Actually, my answer to that, though, was put 4 pieces of paper on the floor and let the dog pick one. And that's exactly what I said to her.
Okay.
But she did not do that.
Well, as far as Julia's travel goes, did you directly pay for anything? And I mean, when I say directly, I mean you went on and paid for a ticket and transferred it to her. And if you did do any of that, was it at the request of Julia or at your offering?
I said to Julia for a long time that as soon as something happens, I will help her get the answers she wants. At this time, before I sent Julia, I think it was £200 once when she was in Poland to go and get a solicitor because she was going to a police station. And then I sent £1,000 to her as well, which that was the night she booked the flight. Julia booked the flight, I believe.
Okay. So for argument's sake, we could say that Julia requested money and then used that money with free will and her intent, and she went ahead and used that money to facilitate her trip. Now, whether or not you were pro trip or you were part of the decision-making process. Was that money requested, or was there an indication it would be used on a ticket?
The money was being used for Julia to go to Wales for 1 week on a 1 week ticket on a plane, and the DNA centre was already booked in, and she was going to get a full DNA profile in an English laboratory with chain of custody.
If you could have stopped Julia, would you have stopped her from coming?
If I had any inkling that Julia would have got arrested, then yes, I would have said no.
And I imagine you were going by the same mindset that Julia was here in December and asked in a police station, should I be arrested? They said no, which gave all of us pretty good clarification that there was nothing for her to worry about, right?
Yeah, I wasn't under the impression there was anything to worry about, and neither was Julia.
Now, the last thing I want to touch on with the whole ticket situation is this wasn't the first time. Julia comes to visit her friends here. Her and Karen have hung out. I mean, Karen's spent quite a bit of time in Julia's company. And this wasn't something that was unusual for her planning a trip to the UK.
I got introduced to Karen around this time when I sent the money, because I got put into a WhatsApp group. There was me, Karen, and Julia in the WhatsApp group.
Okay.
And so money got sent.
Oh wow, so it was really recent.
Yeah, very recent. I was talking to Karen. Very recent. It's like within, I'd say, a week before she got arrested.
Okay, well then that makes me somebody who's got a longer connection with Karen than you, because I wouldn't have even associated with Karen if I hadn't had a pretext with her, which was, I believe, the time before she came. Anyway, so that's neither here nor there. Now, I just want to go through the last of these questions. Do you think it is even remotely possible to stop Julia from doing what she's decided she's going to do at all?
I mean, everybody's their own person. I mean, anybody can do what they want. We can only be there to give our suggestions, what we would do. I mean, but saying that the other day, she was adamant in her cell, she was not going to maths, she was not doing maths, she wasn't doing it, blah, blah, blah. And then the next phone call we get, she's going to maths for a week to see how it is. So, situation change.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
I would imagine with just how open you've been just now, if there's follow-up questions or anything like that, I'll let you know. But for me, I think you've answered all the questions I gathered anyway.
Yep, and I've just had a couple of things. One of the options was Julia to go to Portugal by herself, and I was like, no, you can't be doing that. You can't be going somewhere by yourself like that to sort things out. She needed somebody with her. And I did say I was going to offer one of her friends to go with her. We offered, but that never come off for some reasons. And I was on the phone to Julia when she landed at the airport, and Karen, and when you all went tits up, I believe I contacted you, was the first person I contacted.
Yeah, I can completely confirm that. Now, just for anyone where this might matter, you said in your previous statement there, this is you and your partner, who is well aware of all of this, and is, involved in the process as much as yourself with regards to
giving advice and all of it.
Yeah, ever since this happened, she is becoming like more friends with Julia now than ever.
Okay.
She's actually more involved talking to her. Can you just turn the light down and drop the glasses?
So just to clarify to everyone, Steve's wife is fully aware of all this and is also communicating and discussing and is part of Julia's support group. I mean, that's the best way of putting it.
Yeah, it is very true.
Well, look, I just want to thank you both for your time. And I'll speak to you again very soon. Thank you. All right, I think that's it. There we go. So there you have it, folks. I imagine there'll be follow-up questions. I imagine you guys, it's hard to satisfy the masses, shall we say. And 1 second. There we go. I hope that has answered at least some questions. If anyone has got any more that you want to have asked or anything like that, I'm more than happy to facilitate this. But I need you all to understand. I've had multiple conversations with this man, and I've seen many posts that he's made and the way that he's spoken to people, and that is not the person that I know. It's very contrast, because he's very nice, very polite, very laid back. His wife is very nice, very relaxed, very laid back, very willing to help people. Other than him sounding a little bit like a little bitchy bitch sometimes when he's online, that's not the guy I know. That's not the guy that I've interacted with at all. Okay? So, unless we're talking about deep undercover government agents, right? Sometimes we act differently online. Sometimes we vent things. Sometimes things come over in a way that makes you look like a right? But I'll be honest, the first person he phoned was me when all this happened. And up until this point, up until Julia got arrested, Stephen and I had been bashing heads on Twitter. We'd been all this, okay? And if you didn't have someone's best interests at heart, the last person you're contacting is someone you've been butting heads with, you know? It was sad to find out that I was the first person that Julia tried to call, but I have a different mobile number to my WhatsApp number. Justice for what are my motives behind that? Well, because you don't need to hear what his real voice is to have questions answered. And I said before that I did this, I wasn't going to produce anything that's going to facilitate anything more than questions being answered. And I did that. Because you and other people can use voices in many different ways for both positive and negative things. I am protecting my source, and you can trust me or you don't have to trust me. But I'm more than happy to have people who I've already been working with behind the scenes that no one knows I'm working with behind the scenes, to let them hear so that it's not made up or anything. But for what I'm achieving here, I don't need to put his voice out there at all. In fact, originally, this was going to be me asking him questions and then me coming back and telling you his answers. So yeah. So that's basically that's the reason why. And I would do that for absolutely anyone who wants to put something out there. And saying that, he never even asked for it. It was me. So, yeah, it was really me. But here's the thing. I wasn't really thinking about, oh, you're going to be worried or anything like that. Like you can take my word that I only wanted to put out what was needed, if that makes sense. And that's genuinely true. So, here we go. Caliph spitting bars. Justice. There is a lot of controversy when it comes to Julia, and that brings hate, ridicule, and possible worst. We don't want to put Stephen in danger for helping Julia. That is exactly it, But at the other end of the stick, you've got to remember, how is it going to help Julia, and how are you going to help Julia? How's this going to help Julia? It wasn't. This was to help the community. And how are you going to help Julia? That's none of your damn business. So, yeah. What are you going to do to help Julia? What are you doing? I'm actually asking you. I'll wait. I'll wait. Don't worry. Phew. I'm waiting. Oh man, come on. It's a simple question. What have you done? Don't think there needs to be. Don't you think there needs to be openness and transparency? Yes, absolutely. I believe the whole case, right? The whole case should have openness and transparency. I completely agree. Sadly, though, I never started this whole process. I was brought into this process, and I'm not willing to put my sources at risk from anything for clarity of a side chat. I have delivered exactly what was asked of me. Okay. In fact, that was offered from me. So, and I'll tell you something. In fact, give me a second because a voice message has just arrived. Give me a second. So again, I'm not going to get into why I hid the person's voice. It's protecting a source. You don't need to hear the voice. You don't need to hear the voice. But I'm happy for anyone who is part of the groups and all that kind of stuff. If you guys want to hear, so you know that. Yeah, happy to do that. But yeah, so listen, if you guys have got any more questions, feel free to get them over to me. If you guys want to do another interview, I'm sure Steve will be all right with that. So yeah, hang on a second. Well, we got D saying something here. Did I understand correctly? Was she on her way to get? I believe that part of her trip that she had planned was to come over and have a full DNA, a new DNA something done. Steve did explain it in the interview, but it was a new DNA breakdown, the full DNA test, basically. Our full, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't remember. Yep, people are definitely going to see her. Don't worry about that. So yeah. But anybody, you got any more questions you want to throw at me? We'll go for another 5-10 minutes. And yeah. Wonder why I couldn't have discussed all of this before. Well, here's the thing, right? I literally found out like the day before. And when I say the day before, like late, like 11, 12 o'clock at night, I think. And then I did that live show from where you seen Julia at the airport. You know? So that one, it was quite a secret one. I'll be honest. I wasn't privy to the planning or anything like that on this one, but that's not unusual. That's not unusual. Like Julia didn't run her life by me or anything like that. And you know, we spoke about loads of stuff within her case, but not so a lot of it that expands that hasn't really been brought to the public yet. Oh wow, Erica, that's interesting. That's interesting. You know, it really is. Yeah. Yeah, demon's sake, I'm here. I hear you. And again, I just want to reiterate, for me, I don't care what the outcome is. I just want Julia to have the answers, you know, and everybody who your friend should have one chance for doing, you know, for example, if it turns out that our parents are our parents and everything else and I'll still be standing by her, but I wouldn't support her if she thought she was somebody else. Do you know what I'm saying? Denise, I'll be honest with you. I don't really want to do anything that does anything to do with that right now, because it's a big, like, if I was to put anything out there, it's already out there, but I don't want to put something out there and then somebody saying something horrible. I don't know. I just, do you see what I'm saying? Now, like I say, we need Steve, we need Karen, we need Sheena, we need all the friend group that Julia has that was important to her to not feel alienated. We all need to just try and focus. If you want to look for conspiracy, the friend group ain't the place for that. There is an abundance, okay, of places you can go cray-cray on conspiracy with regards to this whole case. Not the Julia case, the whole case. Elaine, here's the crazy thing. The collective thought from those who are around Julia, both online and offline, both professional and social, collectively in the opinion of that group of people, is that if this had been any other person or any other case with any other family with a missing child, there wouldn't have even been an arrest. Okay? You know? Yeah, Twisted Metal. There's a lot more to AI voice stuff, but yeah, that's a completely credible reason as well. Completely credible. So it's 2025, people. And again, Stephen didn't ask to have his identity protected. I insisted. Okay. So anybody that wants to pick holes in that can pick holes at me. All right. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I'm sure he'll still say mad things on the internet, though. It seems hardwired into the guy, but I think all the people in the side chat who praise Julia for being smart, making her own decisions, she can do this, she can do that, she can do this, she can do that. Okay. She's also capable of making good judgments on people. She's also capable of having terrible days where she tells us all that we're this, that, and the next thing because she's currently in prison. Okay. On the most nonsensical charges that has everything rooted in those who have the larger name in this saga. In my humble opinion, it's a political situation. It is sad. But my God, right? We ain't about to stop believing in Julia. We ain't going to, and listen, that doesn't mean believe the narrative. Excuse me, everybody. I need to sort my eyeball out. Let me just try and see what this looks like. Oh, wow. That is Sith Lord Ron. Why am I red? Let me just try something. Let me just try something, everybody. No. How about this? Oh, well, that's creepy. Why am I pink? Like, why am I pink? Why am I pink? Let's try this one. Nope. All right. Okay, we're just going to be pink. We're just going to be the pink floating head. Darth Ron. Nice. So I swear there's nothing red. There is nothing red anywhere around me. Nothing. It's madness. But man, does that better on my eyeball. Hot damn. So Don't know, Kaz. Are our parents the truth? Yeah, Pokemon. Are you talking about the shelf? Like, yeah, this is all ridiculous. This is the product of when your children say to you once, "Oh, I'd like to get into Pokemon." 3 months after you say that, you have a full business where you can sell wholesale. It's just been a nightmare. But that is, oh, there's a couple of like, oh, I don't know, a nice car, at least a nice car, a couple of weddings, a nice car or a couple of weddings worth of cardboard behind me there. I'm getting, it is what I call selling season now. So anyone who's into Pokemon collectible cards or anything like that, high value stuff, and just getting into the hobby, Root Collects will be starting back up again. So get, you know, if you're a grown person with a degenerate issue when it comes to cardboard, join the club. So what the hell is a Durbanitz? What the hell? How many? I don't know what that means. Yeah, Ron's turned red. Yeah, it's the shame. It's the internal shame that is now manifesting as digital media. Okay. Okay. There's some petitions getting shared around now that I'll look into and we'll dive in. Now, over this weekend, tomorrow, as in Saturday, I'll just be doing behind the scenes stuff for the channel. Then Sunday daytime, there'll be nothing from me. Then in the evening on Sunday, there will. Now, Monday and Tuesday, I may be in a different location. So expect a little bit of possible camera on, camera off streams. Also, some wandering around out in the IRL chitty chatty streams covering new stuff. And it's going to be a kind of new beginning, and I'm excited. So, excuse me. I kind of like the red, by the way. Right? I kind of like this. Excuse me. And lighting panels is what I need to get. I need to get 2 decent lighting panels for either side of this new desk, and that will stop all this issue. I've currently got a tiny, tiny little ring light that was perfect for that little room, but for here it is garbage. So, red Ron. Yes, I'm going full rage. So again, there might be some more live streams coming up before 9:30. The next thing I'm going to do is get all of the behind the scenes stuff done for the Surviving Life podcast, get that posted, and then it's just live streamer-rama until then. How's Julia holding up? I don't know. We'll need to arrange another chat, I guess, through Steve, and we'll go from there. But look, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for listening. Okay. And, you know, you can have faith in me that I'm not going to waver from helping Julia with her answers. I'm certainly not going to get caught up in internet nonsense whilst Julia's still in jail, in prison. Okay. So everyone go away from this, get a chamomile tea or whatever it is you do to relax. Okay. Sit down and ask yourself, can we all pull together as adults and do what's best for Julia? And then once she's out and all this is settled, you all can batter the crap out of each other online if you want. I don't care, right? But do you think we can do that? Do you think you have got that in you? Oh, yeah, I forget no one's going to answer. But I think you can, all right? So I'll see you on the next one. I am on the Discord. If you go to ProjectROOQ.com, click on Join the Movement, you will get a button to come and join the Discord. Please feel free to go and do that. I just want to make sure you understand that it is not a democracy. It's one of my Discords. So behave yourself and yeah. You guys are all awesome, by the way. Just in case you haven't told yourselves or you haven't realized, you're all pretty awesome. So make sure you take a couple of minutes to appreciate yourself today. And I will see you all in a few hours. I don't know. Much love. Peace.